welcome to another edition
Blog
of
Talk Radio.
MMA Radio.
I'm your co-host, Rob Mead, joined by Freddie Rodriguez. This is our first edition of XFC on Air. We'll be joined today by Eric Mel, if he calls in. Still waiting on him right now. How you doing today, Fred?
Doing great, man. Looking forward to talking to Eric and talking about that big fight that's coming up this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, I always like it when the little guys are in the ring. You know, there's always going to be action. Even though the octagon looks gigantic with them in there, they don't ever slow down. They put a war on.
Absolutely. I'm telling you what, Mighty Mouse, man, I think he's going to be champ for a long time.
You know what's funny is he goes in there and does exactly the same thing in every single fight, and no one's been able to stop him.
Oh, yeah. He's fast, man.
Yeah.
He's ferocious, man. He just comes at you, and he just doesn't let up, you know?
Absolutely. You know that other fight that's on there, Rory McDonald and Jake Ellenberger, that's going to be a war. Plus, Jake's been doing a lot of talking in this fight, so I think Rory's a little motivated, so they're going to put on a war, too. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that's going to be an incredible fight, man. I'm telling you what, though. Someone asked me the other day if they think that, you know, if I think either one of them are going to get the title shot, if, you know, depending on who wins or whatever. And I think they will if GSP ends up defeating Johnny Hendricks when they fight in November.
Right. Yeah, I know it'll be a touchy situation since Rory McDonald trains with GSP, and GSP said he doesn't want to fight him. But, you know, when it comes down to business and they start handing out those checks, I think we'll see what happens there.
Absolutely.
And my buddies and I always said if we're fighting for a title, the loser buys the beer, but we're going to throw down.
Absolutely.
That's a good fight. I heard a rumor today that they're talking about adding lighter weights for the women as well, the 115-pound division in the UFC.
What was it?
They're talking about adding the 115-pound division in the UFC for women.
Oh,
so you have Felice.
They really need to. Oh, I'm actually reading right here that Rampage Jackson and Roy Jones Jr. might have a boxing fight at the end of the year.
I think Rampage is biting off a little more than he can chew, even though Roy's pretty far past his prime. That's a lot of speed for Rampage.
Absolutely.
I think I refereed Rampage's first fight.
Was it Anderson Silva talking about Roy Jones Jr.? Was that who it was? Or was it a different boxer?
Anderson Silva said that he always wanted to fight Roy Jones in a boxing match, and Roy Jones said yes.
Yeah, that'd be great, man.
He's got bigger fish on his plate right now, though.
What was that?
I said I think Anderson Silva's got some bigger fish on his plate right now.
Yeah.
He wants to get that belt back.
Absolutely.
Think Eric forgot our phone number?
I don't know. We might get our times mixed up again.
Yeah, that happens with the time change. Time change and all that.
What was that?
Right on. I said with the time change and everything, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that 115-pound division in the UFC for women is going to be a really hotbed. And, you know, I watched Felice fight. I think she's got a Muay Thai fight coming up here shortly. I think she's going to put on a show. When she gets into the UFC, just for her personality alone, she's going to sell tickets. Let alone, you know, she's got a really good style, like her stand-up style, and her grappling's been improving, working with the Kerns. She's going to be tough. She's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of, you hear Chris Cyborg's going to be fighting a Muay Thai fight in August. Two of them, actually, on the same night.
Yeah, that's a scary thought. I wouldn't want to be on the other side of the ring from Cyborg.
Absolutely not.
She's scary. And so you got Ronda and Misha getting ready to fight again. I wonder if Misha's going to solve that problem.
I said I was there for that first fight, man, and I can't believe her arm was not, you know, just completely fucked up. Like, when we seen that shit happen, it was just crazy.
Yeah, it not tapping out when it's bent over like that, no way. I might not tap from a choke, but if you bend my arm past 90 degrees, I'm pretty sure you're going to know how fast my hands are, because I'm going to tap real quick.
Absolutely. Live to fight another day when it comes to something like that, man. I mean, if you mess up your arm real bad, that's going to hurt you the rest of your career,
I'm hoping that she solves that mystery. I'm hoping that she can avoid that arm bar again. Everybody has avoided, gotten stuck in the arm bar. I'd like to see what happens with Ronda in the later round. I've seen some flashes of her hands looking better. I'm watching some of her training videos, and her striking looks pretty crisp. But she doesn't have to go through it because she can out-grapple everybody.
Absolutely. Who do you think is going to be the one to beat Ronda?
I don't know if Cyborg and her will ever happen. I don't know, with all the, her testing positive and all the talk, and Cyborg is not in the UFC. It's not helping her that she is managed by Tito, and he has a contentious relationship with the UFC as well. But I'd love to see that fight. That's the fight I want to see. I think Misha's got a good chance. She's a good athlete. She's a good grappler. A lot of her wins come from submissions as well. Ronda's grappling right now is on a different level. I don't see her having to resort to anything for a while yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like Sarah McCain, the Olympic wrestler. I think she may be a little young in her career yet, but I think Sarah McCain can grapple with her. And then, it's going to be the other intangibles, the training and the striking, and what can she do from there. But like I said, watching Ronda's striking and her training right now, watching her hit the mitts, she's looking pretty good.
Absolutely, man. I'm telling you what, that just seeing her, every time, first round armbar, that last fight, I was just saying, before the fight, if this happens, man, she's going to be a legend. She's already gone down in the books as a legend just for what she's done so far. And it's just crazy. Just seeing that happen. And if it happens again, man,
yeah, it's unbelievable. She goes in there and says, and does what she does, and then the armbar is there, and she takes the armbar. All 7 opponents have been beat in the first round by armbar. I think she went to the second round in the last fight. But all of them beat by armbar. They know it's coming, and they can't stop it. That's a scary thing because we haven't seen anything else. We don't know how good her guard is. We don't know how good, how she does on her back. We don't know how good she is in 5 rounds because she hasn't had to go that far. She trains like an animal, though. She's out there training like crazy. People I've talked to who have trained with her and rolled with her says she's out there every day training just like the men are. That's a scary proposition that we don't even know how good she is, really.
Absolutely. So I did want to talk about this real quick. XFC 25, they're having their inaugural strawweight title, and it's going to be a fight between Stephanie Gink and Angela Magana. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, it's going to be a great fight. And also on the card, you got Diego Lima. I've seen him fight multiple times, man. He's just ferocious. He always brings it. His leg kicks, man, sounds like a whip every time he snaps them. And he will be taking on Ricky. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, I want to see that fight. I like that striking style.
Absolutely. And then his competitor, the dude he's taking on, Ricky Rainey, he's a fucking badass, too. That's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to that one. And then we also have, what's up?
It's good when you have those two guys and they're trying to make it and they're trying to come in. They both have a little fire on them. I like it when somebody's not afraid to go out there and win the fight. I'm tired of seeing the guys who are afraid to lose.
Absolutely. I'm tired of seeing these wrestlers. I understand wrestling's an aspect of it, but if you're gonna wrestle someone, don't hold them there, and just sit there. Do something with it, Fucking do something. Don't just sit there and hold them down and try to win on points. That's not what a fight is.
The current format and the current point system that they're using in MMA, I think, is ridiculous. It doesn't really work for MMA. If you're a wrestler and you can take somebody down, you can actually win a fight without winning a fight. And I'm not faulting the guys who are wrestlers for doing what they're allowed to do in the cage. If that's how you can win and you want to move up and win as safely as possible, then you can't fault them for doing that. But I think it's a rule change that needs to happen. There can't be so much weight on the takedown when nothing happens. If you can take me down 4 times and never do any damage to me at all, you shouldn't win that fight.
Absolutely. Do you think we should, do you think MMA should go back to yellow cards like they had in Pride?
When I was refereeing for the Danger Zone, Dan Severn's organization, we had the yellow cards. And I'm going to call out one of my buddies here. Rich Clemente actually got my first yellow card in a match. He did a kick to his downed opponent and got a yellow card. And what's funny about that is about a year later, Rich is on another card and I'm refereeing it. And he's about to do the exact same thing. Afterwards, I talked to him after the fight, and he said, I remembered when I saw you that I wasn't supposed to do that because I didn't want to get another yellow card. So, yeah, I think it would help. Something like that has to happen because just laying there doing nothing the whole time and winning a fight, or when they put him against the cage, I like dirty boxing as much as the next guy, but I don't feel like that wins the fight.
Absolutely. I
want to see you go for submissions. I want to see you striking. I want to see the guys who are willing to go for the win and not the guys so much who are, I'll do what I can to win. You look at Wanderlei Silva and how popular he was in Pride. He wasn't popular in Pride because he laid and prayed. He was popular in Pride because they rang the gong and he went after it.
Exactly. You look at guys like Chris Lytle, George Grisel, and, dude, they every time they come to fight, they just bring it. They might not have won every fight. They brought it every single time, and you can't say they didn't, I've never seen one of their fights where they haven't just came ready to win, ready to fucking battle.
Absolutely. The thing is, it's strategy. Greg Jackson's a great strategist. He's a great trainer, and he will come out and say, this is how you beat this guy. This is how you win. And whether that means laying on top of him or it means movement, that's what he instructs his guys to do. And you can't really fault him for that because with the judging criteria we have right now, that's how you have to win. But if they emphasize the other aspects, aggressive striking, octagon control, submissions, that sort of thing, you would see a lot more people going for it. If you just are allowed to lay there for, a minute and 30 seconds in every round, and if you're on top of the guy, well, you can't fault the guy from doing that if he knows he's going to have to be striking with Wanderlei or Anderson Silva.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so who do you think's going to win this? Who do you think's going to win this rematch between Silva and Weidman?
Well, if you recall, I did call this fight. I did call that Weidman was going to beat him. I just think Weidman is a bad matchup for Anderson Silva. Do I think that Anderson Silva is the greatest of all time? Absolutely. But matchup makes fights, and I believe that Chris is just a bad matchup for Anderson Silva.
Absolutely.
I feel like he's just got the skill set. He's a good enough wrestler. He's a good enough striker. His endurance is good enough that Anderson can't be, he can't play the Matrix game like he did with everybody else. The intimidation factor is not there. That being said, now we're going to see Anderson focused and ready to get that fight going on. I think it's going to be an interesting fight, but I look for Chris Weidman to take him down late in the round, late in the fight, and just dominate the fight at the end there.
Who else is on that card?
Right, I'm going to play this over and over again.
What was that?
I said, and if I'm right, I'm going to play this for everybody again.
Oh, yeah. So, let's see. What else is going on in the MMA world that, people want to hear about?
So much. What's with the Benson Henderson fight that's coming up? He's going to fight Pettis. We're going to see the rematch with the flying kick from the WEC. And a lot of people will remember Pettis beat Benson Henderson in that fight for the lightweight title of the last WEC.
That fight was just, from bell to bell, round to round, it was just phenomenal. Those guys fought it, and I think they're going to bring it again. That's going to be a freaking great fight.
Yeah, it's going to be a great fight. I was looking forward to seeing Pettis versus Jose Aldo, but seeing the rematch, we're getting lucky enough to see that rematch again. I mean, that fight was back and forth, that crazy kick that Pettis pulled off, and his striking is so crisp and different. I feel like we're watching the emergence of another superstar in Anthony Pettis. I feel like he's going to show us something he hasn't seen before. That being said, Benson Henderson has beaten some studs to keep that title and to win the title.
Absolutely.
That's going to be a war. I'm really looking forward to the fight.
So this Saturday, I was just looking at the card, and we got Jessica Andrade versus Liz Carmouche, and that's this Saturday on Fox. That's going to be a phenomenal fight, man. Yeah,
Carmouche is going to want to do something for, she's going to want to do something to make up for that loss she had against Ronda Rousey to prove, she was good enough to be in that fight in the first place, not just somebody who took the fight. I think that I think she's really going to show her stuff in this fight. That's going to be a war too. Carmouche brings it every fight. I mean, losing to Ronda Rousey by armbar is it's not a bad thing. There's no disgrace in that. But I think she's going to come out and show it. I think maybe she's a little small for the division. I think maybe they should have a 125 division. I think that would even be better for Miesha Tate. If they had a 125 division, then you'll have people crossing over from 125 to 135, maybe even 115 moving up to 125. There'd be a lot of cross-training in that. I think eventually if they do that we see Carmouche go down one more weight division. I think that's a better weight class for you. If you see her standing next to the people on the 135 division, she's really small compared to them.
Absolutely.
But I think that'll be a war, and I'm looking forward to that McDonald and Ellenberger fight a lot. Roy McDonald showed some skill in that B.J. Penn fight. Granted, B.J. Penn is, at the twilight of his career at this point. I still think he's my favorite fighter. I think he's an amazing talent, but I think he was at the twilight of his career when he fought Roy McDonald. That 155, as the Underground would say, because I'm giving a shout-out to the Underground right now, as the Underground would say, a motivated B.J. Penn at 155 in his prime would be a better fight for Roy McDonald than it was at 170. But Roy's got some serious skills, and training with GSP every day, and those guys at TriStar has got to give him an advantage in this fight. But Ellenberger is a monster.
Yeah, he is. Definitely.
So I see that fight a really skilled fight.
I was just looking at the prelims here, and another good fight that I think is going to be the possible fight of the night. It's Mac Danzig versus Melvin Gillard. And
Melvin's got a lot to prove. He was on a 5-fight win streak there for a while, and I think he's lost 3 of his last 4. If I'm not mistaken. I think that's going to be I like Mac Danzig's skill set in that, but striking, if he stands up with Melvin, there's going to be some fun.
Yeah. I'm saying Melvin, he brings it every single time, man, whether he loses or whatever. He's
you think about it, Melvin's got 64 fights. 64 fights. It sounds like he's been around forever, but he's only 30 years old.
Yeah.
So he's still got a lot in the tank. And, both of these guys, I think they might be fighting for their jobs at this point. I think they might be fighting to stay in the UFC, and, that means they're going to bring it. I think that I feel like Melvin's athleticism will win this fight for him. I like Mac Danzig a lot. I just feel like he's not fought up to his potential in the last few fights. I always thought he was a really talented guy, but I feel like Melvin's athleticism is going to win this fight for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was looking here. He's Melvin Gillard's actually 1-5 in his last 5 fights or whatever, or 1-4. My bad.
Yeah,
but, he's riding a two loss streak right now, coming off a loss to Jamie Varner.
Right, and I think that Jamie Varner's resurgence is something else too. But I think that Melvin Gillard, he's always got all the talent. I don't know why he hasn't put it together. I'm interested to see this fight a lot. I like Danzig. I like his skills. I like Gillard's striking and his athleticism. That's going to be a hell of a fight.
Absolutely. And I was watching last night. I didn't get to watch the entire episode, but did you see it? Joe Rogan actually has a new show out called Joe Rogan Questions Everything. It was on, I believe, my channel.
Yeah, I watched it last night. Great show.
Yeah, he was looking for Bigfoot. I didn't watch all of it yet, but...
Yeah, they went out to the woods, and I believe they were in Washington State. They went out to the woods and did what they call squatching. They went out there looking for some Bigfoot signs. They even had some what one Bigfoot enthusiast said was Bigfoot poop, and he took it to somebody to do DNA, and of course they didn't find any Bigfoot DNA. But it was a pretty entertaining show. I can't wait to see some of the other shows he's going to do. I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience, all the time. That's funny because there's a commercial on his show that where it says "Trained by Night, Joe Rogan podcast by day," and that is Roy McDonald who yells that out, which makes it even funnier.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think that's a good show. I think it'll be good. I like Rogan a lot. He cracks me up. I actually named my dog Rogan. So if he gets to hear that sometime, he can know that my dog was named after him. My dog didn't like to smoke weed, though. He wasn't cool with that.
Yeah, I've seen him once. Came here during Arnold's or whatever, and he had a comedy show. And I was actually, like, in his, like, the special or whatever. They cut to, you know, you're in the audience laughing or whatever. They cut to us a few times. Dude, he's hilarious. I wasn't expecting, you know, I went in there not really knowing much about his comedy, but I just went to see it. And, dude, he's hilarious.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. I've watched a few of his comedy specials, and I think they're hilarious. I like how he questions everything. I like his the way he is in life. He seems like a pretty cool down guy to hang out with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when is this XFC card? When's it going down? Where's it at?
This is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and it'll be on September 6th, and it'll be broadcast on Access TV.
So is that the one, Access TV? So you're going to have Michael Chavello and Boss Rutan doing the commentary on that?
I believe so.
Yeah, I want to just meet him so I can hear him, Michael Chavello, say in person the big kibosh. That's one of my favorite lines to listen to and one of my favorite shows. That Access TV XFC show is a lot of action. And I think Ryan Jimmo came from there. If I'm not mistaken, Bubba McDaniel's fought on there as well. They put on a show in the XFC. Again, it's guys who are out there trying to win so they can make it to the big show. I think that once they get there, if they keep that in action, Dana's going to keep them around.
Absolutely. And what I really like about the XFC, like, you know, I've done this Funky Monkey thing for a little while, but, like, what I've seen from them so far, man, they're go-getters every single time, you know, like press releases, whatever. They're on it every single day. You know, they're just a great promotion. Honestly, I think they're going to give the UFC some competition here soon, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I think competition is good for everybody, and I think that, having these younger guys out there working their butt off to make it work, to get there would be something special. Who is Eric fighting on that card?
Who is what?
Who is Eric fighting on that card?
Let me see. He's fighting Joby Sanchez.
Joey Sanchez.
And I believe he won the 2012 XFC search. Or like the little. Yeah. I believe that's who he is.
That'll be a good fight. That'll be a good war.
Yeah.
I know Eric is 3-1. His wins and his losses, or his loss, are by submission. So obviously he's got a decent ground game.
Yeah. I honestly do. I think he's going to be coming out with a vengeance. You know, he's coming off that submission loss, and that's his first loss in his professional career. I looked at his amateur career, and he had a pretty impressive amateur career. So,
that's a thing too.
We didn't get him on the show today, but hopefully next week we can get him scheduled on here. Get the show rescheduled.
Yeah, we'll work out this time thing. There's going to be bugs. It's a new show, and with new guests coming on. But before the fight, maybe we can get his opponent on here too. See if we can get some insight into how he trained and what's going on with him.
Absolutely.
I look forward to that.
So before the show ends, we got about 5 minutes left. I wanted to give a real quick shout-out to KOBKfighter.com. Go check out their stuff. They got some great gear, $10 T-shirts, man. I'm telling you what, their designs are pretty, they're pretty fucking kick-ass. Go pick you
I
up.
just got myself some of those V-shorts. I love those V-shorts. If you're in competition, when I was doing submission tournaments, it used to drive me crazy that I would wear those shorts, and they kind of feel like they're sweatpant material, or they were parachute material, almost like those old parachute breakdancing pants. But these V pants, the inner, your inside, your instep or whatever it is, your inseam is all tatami, like gi material, and it causes friction, and you can land a lot more arm bars and a lot more techniques with them just based on those pants. They are pretty awesome to use. So I've been using them a little bit for the last couple of weeks, and it's made a big difference.
Absolutely.
You can't beat a $10 T-shirt.
Oh, absolutely not. And dude, their designs are pretty fucking kick-ass. Like, just go get yourself one. At least go look at the site. Go check it out. I'm telling you what, you won't regret it. They got some awesome stuff.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. And then
also,
you can look them up on Facebook as well.
Yeah, that's KOBKfighter.com, and look them up on Facebook. And also, I wanted to say we updated our new website, and it's www.funkymonkeymma.wix.com/funkymonkeymma.
Yeah, if you just
that out.
Funky Monkey MMA, you can pull that up.
Yeah, it'll probably be a lot easier.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Go ahead and give us a like on Facebook as well. Stay up to date with us when we announce all of our upcoming announcements, all of our interviews, schedules, and all that on there. So get on there and give us a like. Stay up to date with us.
Yeah, we've got some interviews coming up in the next few weeks. They're going to be really good. I'm working on getting a couple more legends. If you listened to us last 2 weeks ago, we had Dan Severn on. I'm going to get a couple more legends on here very shortly. Hopefully next week we'll have an announcement that we'll have another legend, former UFC heavyweight champion on here. We're not going to give his name right now, but keep in touch with us and you'll find out.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say, if you want to sponsor the Funky Monkey MMA, you can message us over at funkymonkeymma@gmail.com. This is a great way to get your message out. This isn't like radio. You don't have a one-spot deal. Like if you're doing radio and you sponsor that, the listener has to be listening at the exact same time that your message is played. And with us, most of our stuff comes after the show's over. People download it, and this is on here forever. So it's not like it's a one-time deal. Your thing's on there forever. We need some sponsors to help us out. We're going straight to the top. This is what we do.
No doubt. I think it's a good product. You're going to reach us on Facebook. We're going to be out there on the web, and you're going to hear us on the radio. You're going to get the downloads, and we even post our interviews on YouTube afterwards. We put some on the Underground as well. If you're on the Underground, give us a like. Look for us. We're trying to get Dana on the show. You can like our thread about getting DFW Jr. on the show. We'd love to have him on.
DFW, if you're listening, give us a call, send us a message, something, man. We want you on the show.
Any fighter that's out there, up and coming, any show you got coming out that wants to promote their fight shows, give us a call, send us a message on Facebook, email us, and we'll see what we can do to get you on here.
All righty. We're about out of time, and I thank you guys for joining us for another edition of the Funky Monkey MMA Radio. I'm your host, Rob Mead.
And I'm Fred Rodriguez.
And we're out. Have a great night.